Moving Pictures by Rush, produced by Rush and Terry Brown in Quebec, Canada. February 12th, 1981, it was released. Rush's Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart. Geddy Lee on bass, vocals, and synths, although not on Witch Hunt. Hugh Sim is on synths. And then Alex Lifeson on lead guitars and pedals. And Neil Peart on drums, percussion, and once again, every other percussion in rock and roll music, including bells and everything. There's 7 songs, and it's 40 minutes in length. Sounds like a typical Rush album in terms of mixing. However, the synth plays a huge role and is mixed on top and up front when it's the lead. And that's a pretty big distinction from the previous albums where the synth is there, but it's not really a huge lead role. But on this album, it is. Artwork is by Hugh Sim. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. What you see here is this one way in the back. Yeah, this one right here. It's the Starman logo. And then the one next to it is dogs playing poker. And then the big one right in front is Joan of Arc being burned at the stake. It's a picture called A Friend in Need. And it's kind of interesting they chose those 3 pictures. On the back side is the songs and, of course, the times of each song. And then this is an old BMG reprint here by Mercury, and of course Anthem Records and Polygram Records, and printed in the USA. Yeah, inside the jewel case. Well, on the back there's a cool cover. It looks like they took a panned out shot of the shooting the album cover. You got some pictures of Geddy and Alex, and then you've got the lyrics, which I really appreciate them putting the lyrics in the insert, and then they thank everybody, including their mother and everything, and their roadie, and it tells you all that you need to know about it. So produced by Rush and Terry Brown, arrangements by Rush and Terry Brown, recording and mixed at the studio, Morin Heights, Quebec. Okay, so that's the insert, and cool picture on the inside. Okay. This is the highest selling Rush album at 5 million, which is kind of surprising because, Rush is one of the huge bands of certainly of prog rock and metal, but in all of history. And when you think about the big top selling records of all time, like Michael Jackson, Thriller, or Bad, or Whitney Houston, or Celine Dion, or whoever's out there. Shania Twain, she's got a big one, and the Eagles. It's much more than 5 million. They're like in the closer to 100 million. So I would have thought Rush would have sold more than 5 million, but still nothing to sneeze at. 5 million. Okay. The first track is Tom Sawyer, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. This is the signature track from Rush for all their albums. It's a perfect song, really. Played at every single show. It's a song about Tom Sawyer, written by Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain, or what Samuel Clemens is. Mark Twain is the pen name to Samuel Clemens. Go watch Star Trek: The Next Generation. There's a whole episode about it. It's about Tom Sawyer, the Mississippi River, and the sort of stoicism that Tom portrays in his books. And it's sort of ambiguous enough in the lyrics where the listener or the reader of the lyrics can imagine whatever they want. Tom Sawyer. I never read the books. I just know the stories, and I've read excerpts in school, and I know enough through the stories that just enough to be dangerous. With Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn and Jim and all those guys and all the wacky things they did. Tom Sawyer has penetrated pop culture in a big way to the point where it's universally known, I would say. I think if you played it for just about anyone, they'd know what it was or who it was, and they've heard it before. Of course, it's a staple on rock radio, and especially where I grew up, WAPL out of Appleton. Tom Sawyer was the opening theme song for Imus in the Morning on Fox Business Network until he went off of TV in 2015, which I thought was an interesting choice because Imus was really into Delbert McClinton, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, the band, Levon Helm, that sort of like Americana bluesy genre. He wasn't really a prog guy. In fact, he would say negative things about prog. And sometimes he would have the government mule guy actually on the show and play, and I can't recall his name at the moment. And Waylon Jennings' kid, I can't remember his name either, but that was about as a proggy or psychedelic. That was more like psychedelic rock though. It's not prog like Rush. Okay, so Tom Sawyer, the theme music for Imus in the Morning, R.I.P. Imus. And then also there's a really funny Family Guy cutaway with Tom Sawyer and Chester the Cheetah's snorting Cheetos. It's kind of preposterous. He's snorting Cheetos and he's declaring Neil Peart is the greatest drummer ever, and it isn't easy being cheesy, you know. And he's like snorting. It's like he's snorting coke, and he's got glass in his face. It's ridiculous. Anyway, there's nothing I don't like about the song Tom Sawyer. I'm sure you like it. And the playing by Geddy and Alex and Neil is great. And my favorite part of the song is the opening, the synth you hear, and then you hear Geddy, today's modern day warrior. You know, it's pretty traditional for a shorter track, but it's not. The song structure is pretty traditional, but it's not too traditional. It's a verse, chorus, bridge, and then a long instrumental, and then a verse, chorus, refrain, and then it's an outro, and that's the whole song. Okay. The second track is Red Barchetta. 6 minutes and 6 seconds. My uncle has a country place. Okay. That's the beginning, and then there's this beautiful electric guitar part by Alex, and then during the chorus, and then it goes into the heavier chorus part. And be careful, because in this song, the second chorus, it's different. The lyrics are different than the first chorus, which is sort of like undoes the chorus concept. Normally, the chorus is repeated, and that's why it's called the chorus, because everyone sings along because everyone knows the lyrics. At 2:35, around there, that's when the bridge starts. And that's my favorite part of the song, when the music goes dot dot dot, and then Geddy Lee singing "Wind in My Hair." That's my favorite part of the song, the bridge. Okay, so song structure of Red Barchetta or Barchetta, depending on who you are. Barchetta's it's like an Italian sports car, right? I think so. It's a verse, chorus, verse, bridge, an interlude after the bridge, and then a verse, chorus, and that's the song. It's a cool song. It's a top tenor for Rush for me. I mean, I don't go around ranking songs, but that's got to be in there. And it's a cool song, and it made it onto Exit Stage Left, different stages, R30, R40, really everything. It's a concert staple, and just so was Tom Sawyer too. Okay, the third track is YYZ, or YYZ if you're English. It's 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Pearl Jam ripped it off on Vitalogy. It's a song called Spin the Black Circle. But YYZ is. Okay, so it's kind of the same, but I don't know if Pearl Jam realizes that they ripped it off, but they sort of took it. They pretty much lifted it. Yeah. Okay, YYZ is sort of like La Via Strangiato. It's a song to show off the playing of Rush, and it's an instrumental. And the selection that starts around 1:45, that's the intensity of the song. That's where it really picks it up. But I was just chanting out there. And then around 2:20, Alex plays a really cool lead part. It's a higher register, Eddie Van Halen type. Now, don't get your panties in a wad for me comparing Alex to Eddie. I mean, it's just a comparison. So don't send me any hate mail or nothing. It's just a comparison, okay? Apples and oranges. It's a cool song that made it to exit stage left. Different stages, R30 and R40, just like Tom Sawyer, and it's a concert staple, right? Okay, it's on all of them. Oh, and it's an instrumental, of course, you know that. But the YYZ is the, of course, it's the Toronto Airport. It's the call, which I have some stories about, because I used to fly to Toronto and work, and then if you're an American flying into Toronto and then coming back, you have to go. And before I had pre TSA, it was really hard because I would have to wait in line for like 90 minutes just to get through the international check-in. Okay, anyway, what was I saying? It's a song about the Toronto airport, and the Morse code of YYZ is the that's what it is. That whole thing, that's the Morse code. That's what the song's based on. Okay. The fourth track is Limelight. 4 minutes and 19 seconds. But when Limelight plays, I always think of "Welcome to the Bill Michaels Show" because that's if you're a Green Bay Packer fan or a Bucks fan or whatever, he's a local sports radio guy, and that's his theme music. It's been his theme music for years too. Like the opening, just like Imus, he had Limelight. Okay, this is another one of those songs where Alex, Getty, and Neil are playing in perfect harmony together. Um, when Getty sings in the chorus, the concept of becoming famous and dealing with the isolation, coupled with the pressure of doing more and doing better, doing more and doing better and improving and advancing. That's what Neil's written about, and that's what Getty's singing about. Okay, it's not easy. Um, Not that I know anything about it, but it's not easy to be a star. But I've heard, like, if you ever listen to an athlete or an interview, or a star being interviewed, when they talk about it, it's not. Neil captures that essence perfectly. I mean, think about like the Beatles. They couldn't go out in the public, and they couldn't do anything in like 64, 65. They couldn't do anything. Not in America. They'd get mobbed. Michael Jordan, he couldn't even leave his house. He'd get mobbed. So like, think of that. And so Getty singing "Living in the Limelight," the universal dream for those who wish to seem, those who wish to be, must put aside the alienation, get on with the fascination, the real relation, the real relation, the underlying theme. That he's like that alienation, that being alone, that loneliness. That's what he's singing about. So the loneliness that comes with being in the limelight or being a big star. I've probably just beat that to death like a horse, but this is a verse, a pre-chorus. Whenever there's a chorus in this song, there's a pre-chorus. So this is a verse, chorus, guitar solo, chorus, and an outro. That's the song. It's an okay song. It's a good song. But the fifth track is Camera Eye, 10 minutes, 56 seconds. Excuse me. This is the epic of the album. First verse about New York City. Second verse is about London. I've never really paid too much attention to the lyrics on this song. The main riff of this tune is just so catchy. There's no need to focus on the lyrics. The song opens up with these really scary synth sounds, like, you just go listen to it. It'll, like the Family Guy cutaway about the 70s movie called The Corporation, and they're in the desert, and there's like a just go watch it. Okay, that's what it reminds me of at the beginning. And at 2:20 the song changes, even though it still sounds like the intro, sort of the main riff of the song, like the dot 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 dot. And that's at 3:30 the song gets really happy, and then the verse starts. And honestly, there isn't a huge difference between the music and the verse and the chorus. All the big action is in the instrumentals at the beginning and the solos. But it's an epic, it's a good song. The song structure, I like that Rush doesn't repeat their song structure, which is why I think about it a lot. It's instrumental, intro, verse, chorus, instrumental, break, and then after that break, they repeat so it's another verse and then a guitar solo, and then they repeat the chorus, and then that's the end of the song. Okay. The final, not the final track, the penultimate track is Witch Hunt, track 6, part 3 of Fear. 4 minutes and 43 seconds. It's a pretty dark song. Especially for Rush, they don't have like too many really dark content. And at the beginning, there's some this is the song where Hugh Sim is playing the synths, and it's scary. It's dark lyrics and it's a scary song. The night is black without a moon. The vigilantes gather on. That's scary to me. It's scary. The main synth riff by Hugh can kind of get stuck in your head, and that's kind of the main thing of the song. And then the Fear Saga. So the internets say that the Fear Saga is Witch Hunt, The Weapon from Signals, 1982, The Enemy Within, Grace Under Pressure, 84, and then Freeze, Vapor Trails, 02. I'm not so sure about that. That doesn't make sense to me. How can it be part 3 of Fear and then, there's 4 more songs later? I don't get it. Someone's got to explain that to me. Fear is the song structure is instrumental intro, and then it's 5 verses, and that's the whole song. And the third verse is the coolest. It says, "The righteous rise with burning eyes of hatred and ill will, madmen fed on fear and lies, to beat and burn and kill." That's scary. It's scary. Okay, the last track is Vital Signs, track 7, 4 minutes, 43 seconds. To me, it's the weakest song on the album, but it's not a weak track. It's just not the best one. Geddy Lee's singing about everybody has mixed feelings about the function and form. It's a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, outro repeats. Okay, that's the song. That's Vital Signs. It's fine. It's just, I don't have a lot to say about it. Okay. So Moving Pictures. This is it's another album where all the songs are really listenable, enjoyable, decent, no skips, no diggers. It's a classic. For a lot of Rush fans, it's probably number 1. It's probably their favorite album. Many Rush fans have stated that in their reviews and in comments. And if you go look at allmusic.com or whatever, it's got the 5 stars. ProgArchives.com gives it a 4.38. That's a hundredths or 0.01 higher than Hemispheres at 4.37. So is it better than Hemispheres? No. Nope. Not to me, it's not. It just doesn't have the really awesome prog. I mean, it's a prog record, and it's a classic. I just think Hemispheres is the masterpiece for Rush. Is it better than Permanent Waves? Is it better than Permanent Waves? I'm going to say no. But it's definitely in the top 5 for Rush albums. I mean, it's not far behind, okay? Well, that's it. Oh yeah, the last thing. There's a bunch of these tracks on Exit Stage Left. So, YYZ. Free Will's on Permanent Waves. Let's see. YYZ, Tom Sawyer. Red Barchetta. Okay. I like the moving pictures version better, I think. I'll listen to it back to back. Okay, that's it. Yeah, stay tuned for the stage 2 ranking video. Coach Plow guy out.